Okay, welcome back. Let's go ahead and look at sentence number 2 that also has some adjectives in it. So this one is, she has an old blue car. So the first thing, like always, is we're going to identify our subjects, our objects, our verbs, our adjectives, if there's multiple in any of those. So what is she? That is, again, our subject, right? It's the who of our sentence. So let's go ahead and mark an S. Has or have is V. Remember, in ASL, we don't write in tense. We don't need the word and because remember, and, like a, like the, those are articles, and we don't use those in ASL. So we can just cross that out. And in this sentence, it's just meaning one. Okay, right? It's connected to the car. Okay. Old in this sentence is our adjective. It describes something about the object. So let's go ahead and put our A. And blue is also an adjective. It also describes an object. So we have two adjectives in this sentence. Finally, we have our object, which is car. Let's go ahead and put our O right there. So now let's go ahead and add all of our posters that we're going to need so that we can easily switch things around. So we need the sign for blue. And again, as always, we capitalize everything in our gloss to distinguish from our English so we do not get confused when we see lowercase. Again, remember we have, what do we do when we see he and she? We just sign the sign for male or female or boy or girl. We can't just point because a point doesn't mean anything unless you set up the referent. So there we go. Now we have all of our signs and now we can easily move them around. So we always say what first? Our object. So let's go ahead and take our object, put that in the front. So we have a car. What about the car? Who? But wait, right? Before we can get there, we have our two adjectives. Remember, they're related to the car, so they have to follow the car. So now, which one comes first, old or blue? Well, it doesn't really matter. Understand, maybe you see a sentence and it will matter which way that you put the words in, but in this sentence, it actually doesn't matter. So we could say a car that's old and blue or a car that's blue and old. Sometimes you will have sentences that actually it does matter which order it goes in. But in this instance, since they're both just very generic adjectives about it, you can say blue old or old blue. So who goes next? Or the subject, which is girl. And then finally is our action, which is have. So let's go ahead and just slide these up so they're not so far down and I don't have to bend over to point to them and all of that. So here we go. Now we have our entire sentence. Car, blue, old, the girl has it. So again, if you remember, we can add two more signs. Well, one sign for here and one sign for there, I mean. Right, we could add IX boy here and try to squeeze that in there. We could add that in. And therefore, we could add IX girl here. And what's going on? Oh, it needs another magnet. So we could add in the reference points because by assigning boy or girl, we're setting those people up. So we could do that. Do we need to? No, because this is the end of the sentence. But if we were to continue, maybe we would want to add in those reference. So there we go. Our two sentences that also include adjectives.